Hi, my name is Joe Roshetko. Today we're going to be completing the Module 4 assignment for FTH 202. My class number is 56574. It is the 28th of June 2025. Today the things we're going to be taking care of is a headspace check, measuring the trigger pull. We're going to be searching for high spots inside the actionable pieces, inside the frame, the side plate, the double action sear, the hand, and the cylinder stop. And we're going to be replacing the mainspring and the trigger spring in the firearm and getting additional trigger readings after that. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to say there's no brass, no ammo in my area. Everything's locked up back in the ammo safe. The firearm is clear. All the chambers are clear and the barrel is clear. Now, to start with, we're going to do the headspace checks for the firearm. And the way I was always taught in the military is you always do go, then no go. So we're going to take the go gauge, we're going to place it inside one of the cylinders, and we're going to close up the cylinder. We're going to very slightly pull back on the trigger, and then we're going to rotate the barrel. Barrel should spin freely all the way through. Now, normally you would check every single chamber, but for expedience's sake, we're just going to do the one. Off camera, I'll check the other 5. We're going to replace that gauge with the no-go gauge, placing it in the same chamber, close it up, and we're going to attempt to do the exact same thing. We're going to slightly pull back on the trigger, and we're going to attempt to rotate. Now, the barrel or the cylinder stops rotating. It won't come all the way through. So it binds up. So it's obviously that it's no-go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do trigger pull set. I'm going to pause the video, position the firearm in the vise, and then we're going to get a video of the trigger pulls and record what our data says. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some readings on the trigger pull weight. We're going to use our handy dandy tool, and we're going to do this 5 times. All right, I'm only going to show one time on camera, but basically we're going to test it first on double action. And we got to make sure we reset the gauge. All right, and we are buried. My guess is about 14.5 on double action. And I'm going to do that 5 more times over the course once I shut the video off. And then we're also going to test it on single action. This is going to give us our base reading. And that puts us at about 6.8. All right, that gives us our base reading. I'm going to go ahead and do these 4 more times, and it gives us our base reading before we actually start any of the rest of the work, the stoning and the layout. And then we'll get a second reading at that point to check and see how much of an improvement we made on the firearm. So after our initial trigger spring readings, we went ahead and tore down the firearm all the way. We're going to isolate these 5 parts right here: your frame, your side plate, your hand, your cylinder stop, and your double action sear for the layout fluid. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply some layout fluid to these, and then we're going to put the firearm back together, and we're going to conduct some cycles through the operation to see if any of the spots come up as being high. All right, just a quick update. We applied our layout fluid to the firearm. We're going to run it through some cycles. We're going to do it in single action. We're going to do it in double action quite a few times. And then we're going to take the firearm back apart, and we're going to look for those high spots so we can go ahead and use our stone and stone it down to a level surface. All right, now we're going to be taking our second set of readings with our tool. This is we've completed all of our adjustments with the stoning and everything else. I want to see where we're at now, if we have any improvement or not. So I'm going to do this 5 times as well, but I'm only going to show once on camera. once again, we're pretty well past the 12 mark, but I'm going to guess we probably had a little bit of improvement on that. Maybe half a pound, quarter pound, somewhere around there. All right, now we're going to check it on double action as well. All right. We're roughly the same on double action. We're about 6.7, but I'm going to test it a few more times and see where we're at. All right, so we have removed the two original springs. I think that was the easy part. I think the next part's going to be a lot harder because we're going to have these two low power springs that we're going to try and put back on. I will restart the video once I get these two springs put together on their guide rods. All right, so this time I have those low power recoil, those low power mainspring and trigger springs in the system. Now, when I was just functions checking it, I could already see that the weight was a lot different. So I got my my gauge reset, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a test. And right there, we are at 8.25 pounds for that first test on double action, which is way less than it was before. And now we're going to try it on single action, see where we're at. And we are at 1.5, 1.6 for the pull weight, which is miles better. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the tests off camera, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you a closeout. So for this last part of the video, I'm going to go ahead and show you what my readings came out to. This is with no action being done whatsoever to the firearm, just a straight trigger pull weight check. My 5 tests, my average was right about 6.75 for the single action and just held steady at 14.5 for the double action. After stoning it down and making some adjustments to like any high spots, my averages for double action were stuck at about 13, and single action was right around 6.7. I had that one little outlier right there, 6.6, but overall 6.7 was about right. And then finally, after I changed out my those two springs, the mainspring and the trigger spring, you see that my average came out to 3.6 consistently and 8.25 on double action. So it was a significant improvement in the trigger pull. That's it for week 4. I am going to compile these videos as best as I can. I'm hoping I don't leave anything out, but basically I am amazed at how much difference those trigger springs make.